Hello everyone, this is James Neal again. I'm redoing a review video I did about 5 months ago about my USS Enterprise D model released by Diamond Select Toys, which are not toys, by the way. The reason I'm redoing the review is because the quality of the video was very poor. It was my first attempt at a review video. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no script, so I was making it up as I went along. If you hadn't seen the video, go check it out. It's called Review of the Diamond Select Toys / Artisan model of the Galaxy class USS Enterprise NCC-1701-D. Comment on the video's quality, like the video. The more likes my videos get, the better. Also subscribe to my channel. It's called James Neal II. That's Neal, N-E-A-L. Numeral 2. Uh, uh, It's brand new. I just started it about 2 years ago or less. I have only 8 videos and 2 subscribers, so I'm just getting started. My channel hasn't taken off yet. I don't know when or if it'll take off. So if you watch and like these videos as well as subscribe to my channel again, titled James Neal II. That's Neal, N-E-A-L. My channel will grow, and I could use your support in growing this channel. With that out of the way, let's begin. Okay. Okay, now on with the review video. I'm sorry. Okay, now on with the review of my Diamond Select Toys model of the Galaxy class starship USS Enterprise NCC-1701-D. For those of you who are just tuning in, as I said in the intro, I made a review of my Enterprise D model about 5 months ago. It was my first attempt ever. The quality is pretty poor, off the cuff, no script. Please go check it out. Please go check that out, and when you're done with that, watch this video, and if you feel like it, go ahead and compare the two. Even make a response video. So this is this here is this is the Diamond Select Toys model of the Galaxy class USS Enterprise D from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've had it since at least 2008, so about 13 years. The details on the model are really good. Though the display stands are complete garbage. Like what the heck? They put so much effort into making really beautiful ships. And yet for some reason they make such cheap pieces of crap display stands. That really drives me up a wall. I'm like, come on, Diamond Select. What the heck is wrong with you? So I'm not going to bother with the stands, as it's been commented on a million times at this point on how crappy the stands are. So I'm just going to focus on the ship itself. As you can see, the ship is as you can see, it's very well done compared to the stands, which are complete pieces of crap. The details are really good if you look closely. As you can you can really if you look closely, you can see the Aztec pattern along as well as the escape pods along 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 the hull of both the saucer section as well as well as the star drives as well as the star drive section. The windows are almost identical. The windows are the windows are almost identical to what you see in the show. By the way, if you haven't seen TNG, I highly recommend it. Though I though I recommend but I recommend you watch the pilot to establish the character and skip straight to season 3. Believe me, you're not missing much. Though one character is killed in the late first season, so one character will be missing if you skip to season 3. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. So here's the main main deflector dish. These these two these these two things are the warp nacelles. There's the main impulse engine right on the star drive section, and on the saucer are the saucer impulse engines. As you, and here's the button. There's a button right on the start. There's a button right here on the star drive section, right behind the impulse engines, and if you put it right behind the main impulse engine, and if you push it, it lights up. Beautiful, isn't it? Sorry about that, my alarm went off. And if you now there are a couple oversights with the design. As you can see, there's the painting isn't perfect. It bleeds through in some areas, like right here on the top of the warp nacelle, and on the outer edges of the saucer impulse engines, it bleeds through pretty easily. And on the bridge model, it bleeds through, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, so it's far from perfect, but and oh, by the way, the another oversight, as you can see, compared to they didn't put any windows in the, so I had to draw them in myself, which is, so they kind of dropped the ball in a few areas, but it's far from perfect, but it's way better than the pieces of, than the cheap pieces of junk they use for display stands, which are they've been commented on so many times. They've been commented on so many times on how crappy they are. It's redundant at this point. So now one of the features that I really like is that here's one of the features that I really like. There's a sound effect which has the voice of Captain Picard. So that was all the sound effects. Now, there's another feature where if you press and hold, it'll do all the sound effects automatically in sequence.
Open a hailing frequency. This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Energize. Scan for life forms. Shields up, red alert. Make it so. Earl Grey hot. Special pattern, Sierra, and fire. Transferring command to the battle bridge. Continue fire all phases. Damage report. Warp 9, engage. Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Yeah, I forgot there was one more sound effect. That last line was from season 3. Yeah, it's called Yesterday's Enterprise. Really great episode. I highly recommend you. I highly recommend. I highly recommend you watch. I highly recommend you watch episodes like Best of Both Worlds, parts 1 and 2. Yesterday's Enterprise, and and Chain of Command, just to get a feel of how good a show it is. Then watch the entire show in order. Uh, you'll have to sit through a lot. If you watch seasons 1 and 2, you're gonna have to sit through a lot of clunker episodes. They're pretty bad, but it gets better from season 3 onward. There's still some clunker episodes in the first half of the first season, but second half it really starts to find it. It really begins to come into its own. So I highly recommend you watch the show. If you're not a Star Trek fan, I recommend you start with start with either the original series or Next Generation, because so and if you watch the original series, I highly recommend you watch episodes like Balance of Terror. It's a really great. It's a top notch. It's like one of the top. It's considered a really the best one of the best episodes of the original series at all of the original series. And yeah, so and I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, by the way. Yeah. So and this is not. And here's another. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. So there's another. This ship can separate. Uh, I had just replaced the batteries about 5-6 months ago. Uh, in both the saucer section and the star drive section. So though the batteries in the saucer section, they're kind of they're a little small square, but they're not as powerful. Plus, in order for it to work properly, it has to be pressed down, and it's the thing that holds the screw that holds it down is the screw that holds the battery casing down is kind of stripped at this point. So there's going to be a few glitch. There's going to be a glitch here, and there's going to be a couple. So be prepared to expect a glitch. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's one of the glitches. That really. that really pisses me off. So I'm gonna try. All right. Yeah, sausage section just is refusing to cooperate. Sausage section is refusing to cooperate. Why can't why can't they use the tradition? Why can't they use batteries like the AA or AAA batteries instead of these what? These are the type of batteries that go in the sausage section. Like they're less. They're basically they're that's why can't they use AAA or AA batteries like they do in the star drive section? It would be much better. You wouldn't have as much of an issue with it with this. You wouldn't that would solve this glitch right away. So I I apologize for that. I was gonna show you. I was gonna show you. I was gonna show you. I was gonna show you some more. So I was gonna. Uh, when this works properly, it shows all. It does all the same feature. It does all the same sound effects, minus the photon torpedoes. Minus the photon torpedoes and warp drive, and transferring command to the battle bridge sound effect. But yeah, but it just doesn't want to cooperate. So it's kind of so it's kind of being a little bitch. I'm I'm sorry about that. That's what really annoys me. I mean, these those watts these watts style batteries are freaking unreliable. Like, someone should write a letter. If you're if you have a model like this and you're just as frustrated with the with these mini with these types of batteries, ask them ask demand Diamond Select Toys switch the batteries in the saucer section to triple or double A batteries, preferably triple A, and this issue won't occur. That way this issue won't occur. That way this issue won't occur. That'll eliminate that glitch. That'll eliminate that glitch. It won't eliminate it, but it will reduce its frequency, because these batteries will last much longer than these batteries will last. The AAA batteries will last much longer than these. These batteries ain't worth a crap. These batteries ain't worth a crap. So, yeah. Looks pretty, does it? Looks really pretty, doesn't it? Now, these drawing these on the these now, as you can see, these are drawn in. I I drew this. I drew these in about 5-6 years ago. So they're these were added on to make it little more, to make it much to make it look much more powerful. So yeah. So yeah. So I did a lot more than just correct the defects. I drew on it, but because it's mine, I can do whatever I want with it. Uh, so 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 this kind of throws a wrench. So the lack of wrenching, this wrench, this defect in the saucer section with these watch style batter, with these with these pieces of crap batteries, kind of throws a wrench in how I plan to make this video. So I'm gonna review a second model, I'm gonna review a second model also from Diamond Select Toys, called using with the original Enterprise. Now, the stand on this one is not nearly as bad. The stand on this one isn't nearly. Pardon me. It's a pain in the butt to get the stand off. So this stand is not nearly as bad as the one from the Enterprise D. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look like a cruise ship, does it? As you can see, this Enterprise doesn't look like a cruise ship, does it? Whereas now this Enterprise is basically designed. It was designed basically in universe, in the show, within the original series. It was basically designed for exploration, but also designed to fight against threats like the Klingons and the Romulans, because in the time of the original series, they were considered massive threats, and so this is pretty well armed for its day. So it could be sent on multiple trips, even on Deep Space Patrol missions, because they were that powerful. Because yeah, in the episode Errant of Mercy, a Klingon D7 battlecruiser attacks the Enterprise, and they pretty much wipe the floor. The Enterprise pretty much wipes the floor with that D7 battlecruiser. It's a really great episode. I highly recommend you check it out. That Balance of Terror is the first introduction to the Romulans, and Errant of Mercy is the first introduction to the Klingons. Sorry about that. I'm dusting this off. It's been collecting dust for quite a while. So, as you can see, it's really a nice looking ship. Though the original though the original Enterprise, because it's a Matt, because in the original series, when the original series was being produced. This was designed by Matt Jeffries. Much, a lot of a few, many of them were veterans of World War II. Many, including Gene Roddenberry himself, he was a fighter pilot during fighting. He was a fighter pilot during World War II. So there were a couple World War II veterans here and there. There were a few World War II veterans working on the original series. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know if Gene Roddenberry was fighting the Japanese or the Nazis. I don't know if they were. Probably both, because yeah. I mean these, and the average person in Japan at the time was basically scared out of their minds to speak out against their government, because they'll get executed and tried for treason. They consider that's the that's the danger of tyrannical governments, and empires with emperors are tyrannical governments. Fortunately, Japan is no longer a tyrannical government like that. The U.S. the U.S. kind of modeled its own its new Japan. They adopted the current Japanese constitution was took elements from the U.S. took elements from Western culture, including including U.S. Western uh, including a Western style. Much of Japanese culture was Westernized after World War II, including its government. They now have they're not Japanese. Japan is now pretty much a parliamentary democracy. They have a prime minister, and is now Japan is now a parliamentary democracy. Of course, but after World War II, they're they're officially not allowed to have a military other than and they're not allowed to have anything except the equivalent of the U.S. National Guard, which are only used for defense, basically. So, yeah. So that so essentially they're no longer a military power. The Japanese Constitution prohibits it, which, and as a result, Japan is now pretty much an ally, because because and now I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track again. So so that first so if you push this, it'll light up. As you can see, it looks really beautiful, doesn't it? And if you look at the detail, it's really good. They did a much better job on the original Enterprise than they did on the Enterprise D. I mean, now it, not every model will come out the same. The design, not every model will have great detail. I've seen some videos of reviews of Diamond Select models where the quality isn't as good, where the quality is a a little crappy at best. So it's far from perfect. It kind of depends on who's ever working on that model at the time. It kind of depends on whoever worked on the model at the time. So in order to make sure in order for there to be a little as somewhat consistent, there has to be a little. They probably have some quality control. Yeah, but even some of the flaws fall through the cracks. So, as you can see, it's an old school style deflector dish that looks like an actual dish. It looks like an old school style dish. Uh, 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 that's the sensor dome. Oh, on either side, right here, on right here, on this, right here uh, right here on the port side, uh, is supposed to, are supposed to be like basically a phaser bank. Another phaser bank right here, and another phaser bank right here, and six phaser banks up here. Up here. That's what it's. That's how. That's how it. And that's how in universe it's supposed to work. But those special effects only. Though the special effects of the show only show phasers coming from here. Now, yeah, that's because Star Trek. They were still Star Trek was what. That's because Star Trek was brand new at the time. This was basically the 1960s. The Star Trek the original series. This is made. This is you can tell it was a 60s show even from the remasters. Even the remastered versions still looks like a 60s show. Yeah. So, and and these are the warp nacelles. As you can see, they're much longer. They're much longer compared to the warp nacelles of the Enterprise D. However, in universe, this ship is about 289 meters long, 127 meters wide, and probably what? Uh, Whereas this ship is 463 meters wide, and 642 meters long. So this is like double the size. This is like twice. This is like more than double the size. This is more than double the size. This so in universe the Enterprise D is much more is double the size of the Enterprise of the original Enterprise, which is why and there are a couple of Earth space docks. There's a couple of space dock scenes in a couple seasons where they reuse footage from Star Trek 3, uh, uh, with that where this beautiful awe-inspiring mushroom shaped Earth space dock. Now, the original Enterprise and even the refit Enterprise could fit in pretty easily, but the Enterprise D, it wouldn't even fit in the doors in Earth space dock. So so but but they don't go near Earth space dock. They go to like starbases like 133 or Starbase 74, which are like three times the size of Earth space dock, because the Enterprise D was able to fit through the door of Starbase 74. That's in season 1 called 100 uh, uh, and 001. That's the name of the episode. It still looks gorgeous. It's just yeah, that was yeah. It still looks good, but feels kind of out of place, given that the footage it still looks like Earth, even though it's supposed to be Tarsus 3, and but it still looks like Earth because they're reusing footage from Star Trek 3 and a couple new shots that weren't in the original movie. But on now back to the review. So it's, as you can see, it's really good. It's a really good design. I did some alterations. I drew basically three phaser banks. I drew three phaser banks, uh, dual emitter in this case, on on the top of the sausage section and 3 on the bottom of the sausage section, and two single emitter phaser banks on the star drive section, and a dual emitter phaser bank at the bottom of the star drive section. That square with 2 dots, those are dual emitter phaser banks from that were introduced in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That were introduced in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, where in universe they gave where in universe the Enterprise got a 18-month refit from the ground up. So it looks like a completely new ship. But because there was an explanation for the change, it got because they made it became believable, and it's even more beautiful. It's even more beautiful. The refit model is even more beautiful than even the original. This looks good from pretty much almost every angle, and with the Enterprise refit from the motion pictures from the TOS movies, it looks even better. It looks good from every single angle. They actually improve. It's actually an improvement over this. Though, but though the design is actually pretty though from a design they're from a visual standpoint they're pretty close. Though visually they're though the visually the re and so onto the now onto the here are the sound effects.
This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise, representing the United Federation of Planets. James Kirk, commanding the Starship Enterprise. Mr. Scott, ready to transporter room.
All right, that was all of them. Now, it's a shame that it doesn't have the automatic sequencing sound sequencing like the Enterprise D does, like the Enterprise D model does. But but I if you have the spare cash, I highly recommend you order both these models from Diamond Select Toys. And if you and they're definitely worth it if you have a huge if you're a huge Star Trek fan and you're a huge collector. I highly recommend it. So now this stand, it's better. It's much better than the original series. Yeah, it's just a pain in the butt to get on and off. It's just a pain in the butt to get on and off. Come on. Come on, you piece of junk. So, all right. Now, as you can see, it can stand much better. So the stand, as you can see, I just set it down. Oh, now the reason it's wobbly is because I'm on the bed, so it's not a solid surface. But on so so I'm gonna rest it up against my leg. But as you can see, the stand, it holds up fairly well. So though only though I though it kind of cracked, though I put some though only because I put some glue. I put some glue around the ball socket to give it a little more resistance. I put a little residue of glue to get a bit more resistance. But other than that, before that it would fall really easily. But not as much. But it has a bit more resistance now. So it's not perfect, but it's better than it was before. So even the quality of this stand falls short of this, though not nearly as bad as the quality of the crappy display stand on. So both of these ships are really good. Are I highly recommend both of them. So if you have the money to if you have all the if you have the money and the spare time, go and order both of these. But don't be trying. But though, don't be surprised if the quality of the display stands are far are subpar. Don't that shouldn't if you don't be surprised because it's kind of par for the course at this point. So that about does it. That about does it for the review. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you that the more likes and subscriptions I get, the faster my channel will grow. So yeah, if you're curious about my other video, go ahead and check it out. It's called Review of Diamond Select Toys / Art Asylum Model of the Galaxy Class USS Enterprise D. It's about 5 months old at this point. Go ahead and check it out. The quality may be a little bit lackluster. Though given how I kind of stumbled through this video, the quality, this one might not be might not be much better, but don't hold it against the video. As I told in the intro, I'm brand new. So my channel is my I'm the new kid on the block in terms of YouTube channels. So so I'm gonna stump so much like any new venture, I'm gonna stumble, make mistakes, and that's kind of expected for newcomers. I've only been doing this. I've had the channel for about 2 years, but I only started recording videos. I only started recording, but I only started recording really interesting videos about 5 months ago. The first 7 videos are basically just my normal day, or just been my normal day, or just my normal work day. The ones, but that was when I was working at baling and shredding. I no longer work there. I worked there temporarily because my ankle was recovering. But once I was cleared, once I was medically cleared, I could go back. I went back to my original job, uh, which is so. So those 7 videos were recorded about August. Were recorded in August of 20. Were recorded in August of 2019. So don't be. Go ahead and check those videos out. They're gonna be boring compared to even my review video. They're gonna be boring compared to my review videos, my 2 review videos. So go ahead and watch them anyway, and yeah, they're gonna be. They're just gonna be. I didn't put any effort into those videos. I just recorded like I just recorded. I just recorded those videos just out of boredom because I was bored. So the quality is it's basically just quality of the video is just me with a camera taking my talking what it was that on whatever day. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. The more video the more videos the more likes I get, the more likes my videos get, and more subscribers I get, the faster my channel will grow. So uh, goodbye everybody, and have a nice afternoon. Have a good afternoon. Have a great afternoon.